Look,
Peace
if
and
you
blessings
scared,
to
I
all
can't help
kings
you,
and
sweetie.
queens.
He
Thank you
said,
for
get my phone,
supporting
more
Louis
trouble. Send
Cruz
him to hell,
TV.
daddy, so you know it's
I
real.
gladly
And then say,
appreciate
get
it
my
if you
phone
hit
again.
that like button.
But this time, tell
Give
him
you
where
some
you at for
more
real.
content, good vibes, positive, and also give you updates on news. So without further ado, Cappy Poindexter once again.
I'm just special. My
Shit
dad,
goes
God
at
is a
it
vampire.
again.
He the biggest vampire.
So peace and
Yeah,
blessings
something is
to all
definitely
kings and queens, and
off
enjoy.
with Cappy
For educational
Poindexter.
purpose only.
There's
Once
another
again,
video
I
that
do
I saw
not own the
earlier
rights to
of
this
her
video.
getting on
For
Cheyenne
educational
Parker.
purpose
And all
only.
Cheyenne Parker did was
Peace and
say, hey,
blessings.
Cappy, right? And I love you, whatever. And Cappy just went nuts and talked about how she's sleeping around with a couple people that she was messing with, and talking about how that Cheyenne Parker really isn't pregnant. In this video, she's calling God a vampire, saying that spirits are vampire and vampires are spirits, and God is the biggest vampire of them all. And she's going to tell her dad to send someone's soul to hell and all kind of weird stuff like that. So in this video, she's also saying, look how young I look. She's got patches of her hair missing on the side when she took off her hat. Yeah, look, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And this is really up to the WNBA to reach out to her and to get her some help. Okay, she probably should be in a psychiatric ward, receiving some help, getting on some meds, all of that stuff like that, because this isn't good. This isn't good. And, you know, people on Twitter saying she's ghetto, the WNBA is getting ghetto, and all of that stuff like that. Kathy Engelbert doesn't even realize the mess that she's in right now. But you definitely need to get some of these women some help. They need some psychiatric treatment, because this is very bad. This is dangerous. She can end up harming herself or harming someone else. This is bigger than that Liz Cambage stuff. Anytime you talking about Cheyenne Parker really isn't pregnant, she says, I love you. You says you sleeping around with people I was messing with. You fake, you phony. You're not really pregnant. God is a vampire. He's the biggest vampire of them all. Vampires exist. All spirits are vampires, and all vampires are spirits. Her dad has the power. Her actual dad, he can send people's souls to hell, and she's gonna ask her dad to send someone's soul to hell. Look how young I look. She takes off her cap, and then she's got these patches, you know, these bald spots. It's bad, people. It really is. So you never know, man. A lot of these WNBA players smoke weed too. So you never know. Maybe she got a bad batch of weed, right? Because let me tell you something. My sister, she's an accountant, and she also teaches at the university here where I live at. But long time ago in New York, when my sister was just getting into college in New York, she had this friend, and her friend went and smoked some weed for her birthday that this guy gave her, and the weed was laced with something. And her friend just completely lost her mind, went crazy, and then ran into traffic and killed herself. Okay, so you just never know, like, what they're spraying on this weed, what they're doing with this weed and stuff like that. Like, you never know. Also, one of my sister friends in New York, like I said, this happened when she was just getting into college back then, and one of her friends was dating this girl that she thought was a girl, but it was really a guy. She was a transsexual. And her friend just felt robbed and just deceived and manipulated, and went and killed her. So it's just a bunch of stuff going on here, man. It's like, you never know. You want to get help. You want to seek help. You want to look out for these people. But it's really sad. Like, please, you women, stop smoking this weed. Okay, some of these WNBA players are addicted to painkillers. all of that stuff like that. Like, you just never know. Some of these WNBA players are addicted to alcohol. I mean, look at LeBron. LeBron at the at the finals game brought a bottle of tequila. I mean, this dude was, when he was playing, he was walking into the locker room drinking wine. So sometimes you get, listen, these people have thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of dollars, and they're able to get all of the drinks they never could afford. Okay, they're able to smoke all the weed they never could smoke before because they couldn't afford it. They're able to get any pills that they want. Some of these players are on coke. Some of these players are doing acid. And like I said, don't be fooled because these are women, right? These women are sloppy too. Okay. Also, Cappie Pondexter was one of the bullies that Candace Wiggins was talking about. Cappie Pondexter and Tanisha Wright. Tanisha Wright is an assistant coach right now, but she was a bully. She was one of the bullies of the league. Used to punk some of these women out. So was Cappie Pondexter. So all I'm saying to you is that these women need some help. And this is sad. It's just so sad. And yeah, so like I said, and I'm looking at some of the comments Candace Parker is making and how they're setting Candace Parker up to seem like she's this saint, this messiah, if you will. Like, what happens is that the media, they make athletes seem like they're pastors, like they're saints, like they're priests, like they're prophets or holy beings and stuff. And like I said, and then they dump that coronavirus stuff in your face and listen to these athletes. These are your messiahs. Okay. But you're looking at one of them right now, Cappie Pondexter, and she has issues. These women have issues. Just because it's a woman doesn't mean that she's without flaw, doesn't mean that she's holy, that she's a saint, that she could do no wrong. Because the way the media portrays these athletes, they portray them as these holy celestial figures, if you will. And they're quoting things that they say. Candace Parker said this, oh my gosh. And you're looking up to her like she's this messiah. And Candace Parker has major issues. I'll never forget when Serena Williams got on Roberta Vinci. Roberta Vinci was beating her at Wimbledon. Roberta Vinci ended up winning that title. But while the match was going on, Serena got mad and she finally scored on Roberta, and she ran to the net and said, F-U-B. Like, she said the whole word. She said F-U-B. And Roberta Vinci just went off on her, killed her in that match. And Serena was looking to her sister and her mother in their corner in the stands for help, and they just ignored her because everyone heard her say F-U-B. Right. So it's like, you can't be looking at these athletes like they're celestial divine beings, like they're prophets and messiahs and priests and pastors. No, these are regular people who have a lot of issues, who hide their issues. Okay, Candace Parker has a filthy mouth. There's plenty of times Candace Parker has dropped the F-bomb, all sorts of things like that. So, right, like I said, don't be fooled because these are women or young women in college and women in the WNBA. These women have major, major freaking issues, man. Sometimes the sex can traumatize you too. These women are sleeping around with each other with strap-ons and dildos and doing horrible things sexually, sodomizing each other. Like sex, the wrong kind of sex, immoral sex can traumatize you, and that can also have a negative effect on your spirit. Okay, right? And then you couple that with the weed, the pills, the alcohol, okay, the filthy language and all of that stuff like that. It's just a nasty, dangerous recipe. So get Cappie Pondexter some help. She needs it because she could end up killing herself or end up killing someone else. That's it.